Hey guys, Lucas Green here, and I'm back with another video. And as you can tell by the title, this is of course Series 1 of Beast Quest Retrospective. That's what it is. Granted, it may have been different worded that way, but Beast Quest Series 1 Retrospective is here. This video was suggested by my friend Adam, a good friend of mine. So nice of him to do that for me. And of course, I did consider on doing it, and due to a little a debate me and him a debate we had on Messenger, which went either way. I ultimately decided I was wrong with my decision making, and he said it's okay, blow over. And as a little peace offering, though, I wanted to get this video out for him and for some fans of my Beast Quest content. So there you go, and it's nice to get back to this series. I will I'm going to get to Series 2 and 3. I wanted to get through at least the original trilogy again, so there's that for you. So, yeah, I think that's all that needs to be said. So, with that being said, let's get to the video itself. I do have notes for this video. I've got them in the corner right there, so if I'm looking that direction, I'm reading out those, just to let you know. So, with that being said, let's get through this video with Furno the Fire Dragon up first. So, story analysis. I believe I've said this already, but just to be clear, in-depth story analysis, so make sure you've read these books before you watch this video, unless you don't care for spoilers. Right, Furno the Fire Dragon. Our story begins with Farm Boy Tom. He decided, we'll make sure we get that done. He decided to be a great warrior like his dad, but he knew he was too young. However, he noticed a disturbance and rushed to see Uncle Henry. After another commotion, Henry decided to let Tom go and warn the king. Tom ventured forth and arrived at the castle, and a soldier informed him he had to wait in line, for many people were asking for help. This made Tom more determined to enter the castle, no matter what the case, he wanted to get in. He saw a squire and saw an opportunity. Tom followed, but lost his trail, and ended up in the kitchen. He pretended to be a staff member. He got caught to the king's table, and Wizard Adaro caught his eye. The squire came in and confirmed the king of a dead knight. King Hugo panicked. He ordered his staff to leave, and Tom hid poorly. Unfortunately, he was caught. However, Adaro told the king he recognized him as Taladon's son via magic foresight. When everyone but the king, Wizard, and Tom left the room, the king revealed he did know his father, but hadn't seen him in ages. He also revealed the beasts of Avantia are real. They had been kept secret to not disturb their duties. They originally had a master of the beasts, but he was imprisoned by Malvel. Malvel was a wizard, a dark wizard. Once good but consumed by knowledge and power, he became corrupt. Malvel controls the beasts and making them do horrible acts. Hugo revealed a magic key created by Adaro, which would free the fire dragon Furno. When asked Tom if he'd help, he immediately accepted. This was his chance to be a hero. Tom woke up, ready for adventure. He was given a map, a sword, a shield, and the key that is now hung around his neck. He was escorted to the stables, met Storm the Stallion, and cantered out for adventure. After some travelling, they came across a forest and slashed their way through until they met a wolf. The wolf, instead of attacking Tom, attacked some knights, and Tom assisted the wolf, and they scampered off, and Tom met Eleanor. She explained that she came here for food. The knights misjudged her, assuming she was hunting King Hugo's personal livestock. Tom felt he could trust her, and she felt the same thing about him. He told her about the beast and his quest, along with the mysterious feeling she had for Tom. And no, it's not romantic, guys. It's not. But it is some sort of strange, well, I wouldn't say it's a strange friendship, but it's a powerful bond they share. So it kind of hints on being romantic, but it's never full. You could say it's implied, it's hinted at, but they never really dive deep into it. So I think it's left up to interpretation there, I suppose. But that's that for you. And anyway, and the fact she also owes Tom for helping, save her pet wolf Silver. So they teamed up and were headed for Furno. Our heroes awoke after a night's rest and made their way to a black mountain. However, it was revealed to be Furno. They all panicked but still faced him. They began their battle. Even Silver got a snag on the tail. Furno eventually knocked him off, causing Eleanor worried for her wolf. But Furno was expecting this and went after Eleanor. Yeah, went for Eleanor. Tom was injured, but he still went to protect Eleanor from Furno's fire blast. He withstood the attack and Furno began to flee, probably to catch his breath. Tom gave Eleanor his sword and he planned to free Furno. Timing it right, he was aided by Storm to jump on Furno's back. However, in the scuffle, he dropped the key. Eleanor, still determined to help, shoot an arrow. She shoot an arrow with the key attached, and in timing it right, Furno was free. Tom landed safely, and the dragon thanked our heroes, then took flight. Tom noticed the map was glowing. Adaro's face appeared and informed them that the king had received word of their victory. Their families would be told not to worry. Tom had been given the first of his tokens, a scale to protect him from various heats. Their quest had just begun. Now for the characters of this book. Tom is our hero, and that actually goes through for the entire of this series. H1, I believe, he basically is center point, which makes sense because it's his first series. But yeah, Tom is our hero. The story focuses through his point of view, wanting to know about his father, wanting to follow in his footsteps, to be a warrior. He gets a chance, doesn't give up, despite the nerves. He has a good heart, helping Silver out against the soldiers when he needed to. He was determined to sneak in the castle for the good of the people of Arenal. So, not playing by the rules, but for a good purpose. Concerned for help of others, but still accepting of them. He protected Eleanor despite his injury, and was willing to finish the quest by himself. He does well for a main character intro. He does. You know a bit of his background, appreciate his noble qualities, and want to see him succeed in his goals. And that's how I feel about it. Because there's nothing really negative to say about one. There's maybe two little things, but it's nothing major. Alright. Eleanor, she doesn't get much, but I did notice her sass, still wanting to come with Tom despite him saying no. She wanted to repay him on for his kindness, and despite being told to stay, she still defies him and decides she like, screw that shit, I'm coming with you anyway. So I like her sass. Launching an arrow, she did that to return the key. So while she doesn't get much, she does show some personality and heroic qualities like Tom does. So that's a nice thing there. Storm and Silver. Not much here, unfortunately. Not much here for Storm anyway. Storm felt like a transport and loyal to his master's commands. There is that one little moment where he, goes after Furno, but I see that as more of a Tom point than a Tom point than a Storm's. Silver, I appreciate he got one move in the battle and with grabbing the tail, and it's clear he grew an early bond with Tom, so I like that too. Furno, due to story, not much battle, but we do have. We'll get to that. Yeah, so not much battle, but I like how you see in the sky, in distance, an early bit of him, like so. It kind of reminds me of, and actually there's a few references like this, but there's like a couple of references to Pokemon, the first episode, where you have like this mysterious flying creature overhead, which is Ho-Ho in that show, Furno in this one, and then you have the hero, meaning a girl in the forest, which is also similar to Pokemon, because that's how Misty and Ash met. So there are some, well, they weren't in the forest yet, but they were like, near like a forest type area. But yeah, so there are some brief connections there, and there could be some more if you point them out. But yeah, but anyway though, so yeah, as I said, I like the sky in the distance early on, how he's built up for the story. You do some strategy, and he does have strategy in some of his attacks, using the advantage of weakened animals to take advantage of Eleanor's compassion. As he saw an opening to strike, he took his distance when he needed and proved a challenge to release from the spell. Rereading, so rereading this book, he got about 3 chapters of fighting. That's what I got. I think Adam said in his Retrospective 1 video he had only 1 chapter, but I roughly down to 3 what I got. Yeah, and it was engaging, never understood. Yeah, this is something I didn't understand about this book. It's a minor complaint, but I still enjoyed the story. It was fun. It was a nice reread. So the one issue I have with this story, it's not like a big issue, but maybe you could say there's explanations you can give for it. But the issue here is characters, for no reason, are very trusting of certain characters. Like King Hugo and Wizard Adaro are perfectly trusting of Tom. Granted, Wizard Adaro has foresight. The king could be desperate, so you have those argumentable debates, so I'm okay with that. But then the strangest one is Eleanor. They just met, and for some reason, she is willing to help out. She must really like her wolf, but what they said in how Silver met Eleanor, it was kind of like it was brief and stuff. That's what I got, but still. So it's a bit questionable about that. And then there's also the thing with Tom liking Eleanor, that look. Because, like I said, there are subtle hints throughout the series where they're trying to be romantic, or it could be interpreted as romantic. You have them staring at each other with these looks. You have them saying lines and then pausing, which could be flirtatious. And then you have a scene, I think it's Arctur, where for no reason Tom has to carry Eleanor out the cave because the entrance is blocked. But we'll get to that book. But I'll be brief on it. But the entrance is blocked, but he carries her anyway. Don't know why, but there you go. But yeah, that's overall though. That is of course Fëanor the Fire Dragon. Always highlight of Beast Quest. It's gonna be by default. It's the origin of Beast Quest. It's not the origin, but the starting book of Beast Quest. Fëanor the Fire Dragon. Well, he doesn't get much to do. He owes the spotlight, and as he's grown, so overall, great book. I have of course ranked. Now I've read them. I think I have a clear grasp of the order I want to do. Granted, I didn't put them in order, but I'll make sure to consider my options as I go. So, moving on. God help me. Stay. Yeah. Sepron is up next. Our heroes celebrated the victory of Fëanor, then camped for the night, preparing to fight the next opponent. Sepron the Sea Serpent. After some travelling, the animals panicked, noticing an approaching tidal wave. They all ran desperately to avoid the wave, just barely making it, but Silver nowhere in sight. Eleanor was about to dive in when he quickly pulled himself out. Tom was more determined to free Sepron. So, that's nice there. Yeah, so I do like the little, I was willing to risk that. They made their way to the shoreline and met Callum and his dad, two fishermen who had met the beast and were feared of the serpent returning. They had one boat left, and our heroes alongside Callum's sister helped fix it. However, there was a fire. It lost control and began to approach them. Tom quickly used his shield, because he gained the fire token from Fëanor, the scale. Tom quickly used the shield, and with the scale token, like I said, Tom was able to hold back the fire. He then asked the fisherman if he could borrow the boat. However, it was their last one, and no matter what the bargain, he wasn't prepared to take that risk. So logically, Eleanor claimed to Tom theft was in order, Grand Theft Bodo. Tom wasn't sure about this, but he knew it was for the greater good, so he planned to do it. So, Tom's also done something bad in the first book where he snuck into the castle unexpectedly, so he could debate that, but I guess she's trying to remind him. I think I bring up that point later as well. Tom and Eleanor attempted their heist, only to see the boat was moved and now needed dragging to the water edge. Callum had caught them and didn't understand. It was difficult to explain, but Callum had a suspicion, given how Tom's shield was able to easily withstand the fire. He mentioned how Tom reminded him of another warrior who resembled him, but he never said his name, so Tom suspected it might be his father. They were pressed for time, so Callum gave in and helped them move the boat, while he looked after their animals, and they went out to sea. Try not to make that. Okay. They rowed out a bit until they realized the water burst through the boat. There was no time to return, so they quickly docked at the rocky island. After dispatching themselves, they searched the island and found a golden chain that went under the sea. They came to the conclusion that this chain was trapping Sepron, which of course it was. They repaired the boat and followed the chain out to sea before eventually facing Sepron himself, jump scare wise. After a scuffle, Sepron dived and Tom left his shield with Eleanor, and I believe he left his sword too, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, but he dived. He left the shield with Eleanor to reflect sunlight. Yeah, to reflect sunlight for his return through a beacon. Yeah, then he went up. So after that, he of course went after Sepron, dived underwater. Tom swam deep, approaching the coral bed. Sepron jump scared him with his mane resembling seaweed to blend in with the environment. After a small scuffle, Tom caught his breath. Eleanor gave some advice to take swimming slowly so he could save on his air. He dived down again and tried again, of course. This time getting up close, then Tom tried to use the key to free Fëanor. However, it didn't fit Sepron's collar, Tom would have to find another way. Like the tension there. Tom was just barely able to escape Sepron and Cordair again. He explained how the key failed and that they needed a new plan. He took his sword, so that's where it comes into play, and swam up close to Sepron, using all his strength to pry the collar off. But he did, and he finally got it, and Sepron quickly shook it off, along with the chain. Sepron was free. Tom was quickly saved by Sepron before drowning, so close battle there. He told Eleanor Sepron was free, of course, and as he caught his breath, a tooth fell from Sepron, which was Tom's next token. Adro magically appeared and told Tom the tooth would protect him from rushing waters. He told Tom to face Archer next. Tom still had questions about his father, but Adro had already gone. So, that's the story analysis on that one, and now for the characters of this book. Tom, so of course, focuses on him. It is Tom's quest. Still wondering about his father and his quest, of course. A bit unsure to steal. Granted, in book 1, as I established, he was okay snooping around the castle. Lol. So it's like at times he needed to be reminded of his actions that have good intentions despite the consequences, which I can relate to, of course. He was also a bit more creative with his decision making, trying to free Sepron. It felt like he was more willing to risk his life in this book compared to Furno, considering that book ended with Tom's risk taking more willfully. Considering with Tom's risk taking more willfully in this one anyway. I also feel Tom is getting more irritated and pissed at Malvel for his cruelty. You can see it as the books progress. Eleanor gets about the same amount of time as she did in the prior book. She helps fix the boat, helps Tom make decisions with underwater swimming. She's willing to dive down and rescue Silver when thinking he's in danger. It sounds just about the same length of what but the actions in this book compared to the other one. She also seemed more action driven, and I also liked she encourages the robbing. The sass is still there, very fun. Storm and Silver, sadly benched given the environment. Storm gets extra points for avoiding the tidal wave despite being scared, so appreciate that. Granted, rewatching this series, I didn't have this in my notes, but I'm going to say here, I believe in my original video of Series 1, I said Storm, I think it was Storm. He was scared of water, and I don't know where I got that from, because I'm watching this again. Yeah, you could argue about the tidal wave, but that's just common sense. Anyone would run from a tidal wave. Series 3, I may have brought some points, but I don't know where that... Well, book 3, I may have brought up some other points about water, but I don't know where that came from either. So, I don't get that. Anyway, on to Sepron. It's cool he can... It's cool he can summon tidal waves and do jump scares on our heroes. He can blend into the seabed. I do question why Malvel would chain him up. Couldn't he just have the collar like Furno so he could, do more attacks around the different shores around the island? Another issue, Sepron was chasing... Yeah, there was a point where Sepron was chasing Tom at one point, but gave up for some reason. I didn't understand that. So he could have gone, but okay. You could apply that as to ego or toying. Take what you will of that. Still, Sepron proved a challenge to the point he was at near-death's experience, so points there for Sepron. And, Sepron, alright. And I never showed the books, that's how it is, but yeah, Sepron, alright. I'm not gonna give the order, of course, so far. That's gonna be for the end, but 2 books down, 4 to go. Arta. Our heroes continued their quest to the mountains to face the next beast. I do like the fun bit of banter they have early on about being friends, with Tom teasing Silver. They bumped into some traders who were attacked in exchange for some water. They gave our heroes rope and Jack Griffin, because the little kid is called Jack, so nice reference. So, one of the heroes of the Giants, so the kid just so happens to have the same name as one of my YouTube friends, Jack Griffin. So nice reference there. After that, they eventually noticed the ground was unstable. It was a mudslide. The mudslide pushed our heroes to their limits. Eventually, they all pulled through, but were exhausted. They just barely reached the cave and prepared to make camp before passing out. Our heroes awoke, realizing they were on a wrecked village. They headed back to a domesticated part where commotion was happening. People were desperate to steal food. Another example that made Tom despise how Malvel's actions had affected people. The thieves began to approach Tom. However, they noticed Silver and got spooked off. Silver had been a bit cautious this book, I feel. Anyways, after the folks thanked Tom, a crash could be heard, and the thieves were trapped. The townsfolk didn't want want to help them. Yeah, help them. But Tom stood tall, saying, what it was the right thing to do to rescue them. This begrudgingly convinced the crowd. I feel skeptical. Realistically, more people wouldn't give into that crap. If someone did bad, that's anyhow, they'd be like good karma for these people, you know. However, some intimidating men approached before the rescue went. The men were actually volunteers to assist in the rescue, and together they freed the criminals. One of the villagers, Randall, told them about the legend of a giant and where he could be found. They headed out and followed the cautious Silver. The cautious Silver, more alert than ever. Something was coming. In the alarmed state, Silver hurried ahead. Eleanor followed. Rocks came down, dividing our heroes. Storm was surrounded by small gravel-like rocks, so a bit trapped there too, while Eleanor and Silver were buried within a cave. And to make matters worse, the mountain giant had arrived. That's a lot of tension there. Tom had to be cautious with this, given the fact, given the fact the opponent was blind. He had to remain quiet, laying on the ground, just barely missing him. Arctur was about to leave until Silver's growl frustrated him to turn back. Tom used the rope to lure Arctur away by rustling the trees. He was able to trick Arctur and sneak behind him, trying to undo the enchanted blindfold. However, in the scuffle, Arctur lost his footing and the two fell. The two were hanging on for dear life. Tom quickly pulled himself up and saw this as an opportunity to free Arctur. He used the rope to parasol down, easily untying the blindfold of Arctur's, given Arctur's situation. Thus, he was freed. Arctur was able to pull himself up. Tom asked for his help. He freed Eleanor and Silver alongside some wolf cubs, which explains Silver's behavior to rescue these. Mommy Wolf led the cubs away. Eleanor says, "We did it," to which that's what I think. Eleanor says, "We did it," which I say is BS because, for obvious reasons, Tom did most of the work here. Yeah. Tom received a feather token. Adaro magically explained the feather would protect him from big falls, along with the congrats and congratulations on freeing another beast. Next was Tagus. After Tom assured the villagers all is well. Now for the characters of this book. Tom. The book, of course, gets his focus. He rallies the villagers together. He defeats the beast on his own. Very impressive. While the scuffle with Arctur isn't the best, I'll give Tom points for creativity when dealing with a blind enemy, and Tom dealing with the beast on his own. Eleanor, unfortunately, not much. She's just aware Storm is acting up. Well, in my notes I say Storm, but no, it's Silver. Unfortunately, she's aware that Silver is acting up. She gets trapped and, for some reason, gives herself credit for the victory. I don't understand that. If that's sass, it's unnecessary sass. That's what I got out of it. Storm and Silver, mainly it's Silver. Storm, mainly it's Silver. Storm gets nothing but 2 moments of brief timeouts. The mudslide and the gravel bit I mentioned. Silver, he's concerned about the wolf cubs. It's not much, but it's better than the Storm or Eleanor. Arctur, it's a shame. It is. It's a shame the situation was perfect setup. Tom was alone with his friends were trapped. But given the beast's disability, Tom was able to utilize the weakness and cause his own demise pretty quickly. He returns the favor and goes on his way. While there's some good points, it just ruins opportunity for a good fight. So you could have made the fight really cool, but given his weakness, it didn't last long. So bit of a shame on that one. Alright then, so that's 3 books down, free to go. And once again, I didn't show the book. This is a treasure ring, so I'm going to show the book at the end. But yeah, Arctur is the weakest so far. No surprise there, given how the fight is. And this time I'm going to remember to show the book, because I'm not going to do this again. Right, there we go. Alright, so up next is Tagus. There we go. So, Tom was saying how challenging his previous quest was, which, from his point of view, I kind of understand that, as explained prior that he dealt it by himself. Anyways, though, after some playful banter, our heroes saw a herd of cattle charging in at them. They ran away until eventually facing a wall of fire. Tom quickly formed a plan to put out the fire. They all went through, and Stampede moved on. A crowd of people spotted Tom as he asked Eleanor to withdraw with the animals. They accused Tom of starting the fire. They stampeded and kidnapped kidnapped a villager. The leader, Adam, we'll just say Adam Ferns here, joke shout out there for my friend, tried to give Tom benefit for the doubt. However, Tom refused to cooperate and was taken away. Granted, I do find it's pretty funny that two of my friends are, in a way, in books, Archer and Tagus back to back, so funny how things turn out there. So I like that my friend's names were in there back to back, it's nice. Tom was taken to the village prison for no cooperation and wouldn't be seen until morning. He hoped his friends would free him, of course. Tom needed to get out. He tricked the guard into giving him food. The plan was supposed to fail, and then Tom was able to make an escape when the guard left. It wasn't long before they were on him, and Tom was at the balcony. Then he heard hooves approaching. It was his allies, here to rescue him. Despite leaving his weapons behind, Tom had no choice but to retreat. They eventually stumbled onto the missing boy, Victor, because that's what the crowd accused him of. He explained how Tagus scared the herd and the fire accidentally started, and he got injured, unable to return to the village. They made camp and planned to return Victor in the morning, Tom still cautious. They brought Victor home after a brief scuffle. All was put right. The village understood, and Tom's weapons were returned. He asked that he and his friends helped with the cattle drive as a plan to get to Tagus. Kind of a bit of manipulation there. Our heroes led the cattle to a safe spot while Tom and Eleanor camped near a river. Tagus eventually appeared. It was time to fight. Tom took Storm and some rope to go after Tagus, while Eleanor looked after the cattle. Tom saw the magical enchantment, the horseshoe, and prepared to collide with Tagus. Tom lassoed around Tagus, but was dragged from Storm, and struggling to pull through. Eventually, he got the rope around Tagus's legs, and the beast went for a blow. Tom was able to dodge it, and his allies came to help. They all worked together to confuse Tagus, while Tom took his sword, getting ready for the moment to pry the horseshoe out. So, good stuff there. So far, awesome. As the chase progressed, Tagus soon stopped, and Tom shot his sword, flinging the horseshoe off Tagus, and he was free. Tom got the horseshoe for a speed token on his shield. Arrow told them to go back the way they came after Nanook, so kind of a bit of BS there on Arrow's part, saying go back there. You might as well stay there and take care of that way with Archer and Nanook back to back. But that is what it is. So there you go. And of course they camped in preparation. So, there you go. And now to our characters once again. Tom, this book, once again, of course, main role. We see him put out the fire, makes the decision to send his allies away so they don't get caught, trick the prison guards, manipulate the villagers into giving them a cattle drive, to defend the order, to lure out Tagus. Tom gets dragged, he coils a rope around Tagus, and Tom gets the finishing blow after leading his team. Eleanor, not much, but I do appreciate she gets to help Tom escape and come back to his rescue. And again, I also appreciate those two qualities. Storm and Silver. Silver doesn't get much at all. Storm, it's nice to see him get the spotlight because he hasn't had much. He hasn't had much, like I said. His best moment was with Furno at the end until now. He rode away from the stampede, chased after Tagus, and helped to confuse Tagus alongside Ellen and Silver. Tagus, this book, he had a cool concept, scaring the cattle at night. I appreciate it took the whole team to take him down. That's the first time we had each of the members, all 4 members, get involved. I do wish Tagus's sword was utilized more in the book, because as I rewatched it or read it didn't feel like that. But overall, Tagus is one of my high points. Nanook. I'll make sure to show it. Nanook. Our friends went on their journey, making the way up the mountains. The blizzard grew strong, and our heroes hoped to make it through. They saw a scuffled up cave and all worked together to dig out for a shelter, then snuggled up together for warmth. But after that, the blizzard stopped, and Nanook's footprint was seen in the snow. Was this a sign she was close? A person with a sleigh showed up, asking what they were doing here. Eleanor made an excuse for them, searching for a rare herb for sickness. The Slayer offered the Slayer Brendan offered a ride to Eleanor and Silver to his camp, while Tom and Storm would follow the tracks behind them. Soon Tom arrived with Eleanor. Everyone snuggled up, but the Slayers. I keep saying Slayers, but they're not actually like Shark Slayer or some like a giant Slayer. No, it's actually driving a sleigh. So I might just say his character's name. But yeah, Brendan's son feared. I think it's Brendan. That's the name. Feared the snow monster that attacked him. Then snow panthers came out, and with the help of Tom and Silver, they scared them off. Our heroes had to leave. They asked for a sleigh, despite the chief's suspicion. He agreed, and they were on their way. However, they ended up on some melted ice, and the sleigh crashed from below. Eleanor had fallen under the ice while their transport, Tom, Storm, and Silver were all safe. You get the horrifying image of someone being trapped under ice, and you're worried you can't save him. That's happening also in Harry Potter and other stuff, I believe. Luckily, Tom had his sword and got Eleanor out. She was very cool. Yeah. Well, she was very cold, unable to move, and then Nanook approached. Tom was able to rescue Eleanor, but then Storm needed discounting from the sleigh. However, as tensions rose, Nanook appeared and faced our hero. Nanook broke our heroes up, and Tom told Eleanor to lead the animals off the ice. Nanook charged at Tom and fell in after breaking out. Tom saw his moment and went for the enchanted bell, slashing it off and freeing her. She left. Tom had his token, but Eleanor was in the cold. And yeah, the beast only had one chapter. Tom saw the nomads in the distance, and combining his shield and the speed token, he snowboarded towards them, which is pretty cool, telling where they could find Eleanor, and they rescued her. Adro told them the token protects Tom from the cold, and Epos remains the last beast. So, characters in this book. Tom, once again, main lead. Granted, how I put it, it did feel like teamwork to beat Nanook. Well, it didn't feel like. Yeah, I would say it didn't feel like teamwork to beat Nanook. Yeah. Well, it didn't. They all built a cave together. I mean, the fight would only consist of Tom, and the animals retreated, so it was mainly another Tom full-on victory here. They found the nomads and ventured out. Tom then easily defeated Nanook as soon as he got one chapter, as I said, so bit of a cakewalk for him. Eleanor, it's all good at the start, then she becomes a damsel for everyone to save with Archer. Everyone was in danger. Yeah, at least with Archer, everyone was in danger aside from Tom. But in this book, it's just Eleanor who's the damsel. Some disrespect there. I mean, I guess there are occasions where you could make Eleanor the damsel, but I don't want too disrespect on her. Anyway, though, Storm and Silver. I figure Silver would get more given wolves are used to the cold environment, but no, Storm did more, being the transport and the shelter, and helping the shelter. Like I said, I also Storm, helping Silver helped with the team effort too there. And then we get to good old Nanook. Biggest letdown of the series. Well, I'll tell you so. Biggest letdown. Got some build up. Foolishly charged at ice water, slowed her down, and she's freed. There may have been a bit jabbing, but yeah, read a bit and it's over. Incompetence. So I can't blame my friend Adam what he's like in this book. I was going to have a bit of debate which one I didn't like more, but since the fight only lasted one chapter, that's kind of disappointment. At least with Archer, it lasted a bit longer. Alright. And now for our final one. And of course, there we go, Epos the Flamebird. Our heroes were heading to the volcano, happy with their victory, and Tom still vowed to find his father, because his mother died and father was all that he had left. But then, unexpectedly, Epos showed up straight away and shot fireball at our heroes. Tom held back. Tom's allies ran to get help. After a second fireball, Epos retreated. Tom was helped by the villagers around the volcano who were concerned about losing their home. A survivor from within the volcano wore armor that could belong to Taladon, belonged to his father. There was no time for answers. They entered the cave to avoid destruction outside. They carried on, revealing the revealing they planned on finding Epos, eventually meeting a soldier who revealed Taladon was a knight. As the pieces grew and grew, Tom carried on finding one of Epos's old nests, and within it, golden gloves, gloves that they carried on finding clues that led to Taladon. So they carried on finding Epos to do some ritual movement. Yeah, he was doing some sort of ritual dance movement. He was trying to awaken the volcano. She noticed them and attacked. Our heroes fended her off, and Epos retreated above the volcano mouth, further up it. Only Tom with his powers could make it. He said his goodbyes, and he has to face her alone. Epos took his shield away, and Malvel confronted Tom, claiming Taladon helped him achieve his plans. Malvel pushes Tom, and then Epos saved Tom, wanting to kill him herself. But Tom struggled free, getting his second wind, holding his ground, but he had lost both weapons, his sword as well now. Despite the odds against him, still with his wits, and Malvel and Epos had him in a tight spot, Epos beaten and held him, while Malvel tried to crush Tom mentally. Yeah, Epos was doing physically, Malvel was going mentally. He overcame Malvel's trick and broke the last enchantment on Epos. The good beast beat up Malvel. Tom didn't know its fate, and both Tom and Epos worked together to stop the volcano. Well, I know Tom also got hit on Malvel too. But they all worked together to stop the volcano. Not wanting Tom or anyone else to die, Epos flew down and sacrificed herself. But we all know how that turns out. Tom was appeared by Adaro. He explained the power of faith made him be able to break the enchantment, and Epos is a phoenix, so she's reborn. He got the healing token from Epos. He had been transported home to Hugo's palace. He explained about Taladon. He had an encounter with Epos to study him. Yeah, King Hugo's finally explaining about Taladon now. So he had an encounter with Epos to study him. It's then mentioned how Tom's parents planned to know everything about beasts to prevent bad stuff from happening, but somewhere along the way, Malvel took some scrolls that contained information regarding the good beasts. These scrolls belonged to Taladon. How he was able to create the enchantments to control them. Malvel could possibly return, but Tom would be ready, of course, for it. And that explains how, Malvel said Taladon was working for him in a way. So the whole scroll thing. This is Tom's whole story. It is. Characters focused on him finding about his father, and while there's still more for him to know, the mysteries surrounding him make new readers all the more intrigued. I like how Tom is able to withstand all mental and physical damage thrown at him, and he knew when the time had come, he had to go alone, so he was prepared. Eleanor, even though she doesn't get much, bring Tom help. She's very trusting of Tom. Yeah, she is very trusting of Tom. I'd say more so than Storm and Silver. That's what I say. Yeah. So, more so than Storm and Silver, and that's just me, and yeah. But several undertone mentions of possible lovers connection there, which you can see in a brief dialogue exchanges, holding looks, how they greet each other, and the scene where Tom carries Eleanor for no reason in Arctia, despite her not being crushed, just blocked by the entrance. Personally, I prefer them as friends to break the cliche, and I appreciate that it has never fully gone there. That's my thoughts on the matter. Storm and Silver, not much. They're faithful in their book, so they didn't get much to do because they're more background than they usually are. Epos, powerhouse, going straight for Tom at the start, toys around with him for a bit, wanting to be the one to finish him, and then regaining her selflessness, personality, sacrificing herself, quotations. Then we have, of course, Malvel, finally. Malvel, he's mentioned throughout, but doesn't do anything till the end. That might sound stupid, but at this point, it's the first time he's met Tom, so he doesn't really view him as much of a threat. He tries to break him mentally and almost get him. While he knew his friends were faithful, he didn't know about his dad, and throughout the story, it's portrayed his dad was great, but Malvel twists it and asks, what if, your dad, what if Taladon was bad? It gets him to, since he doesn't know his father, he's able to use it against him. So I appreciate that touch. On the other hand, he underestimates Tom. Yeah, I said it's his first encounter, but he knew the beasts were getting freed, didn't care, biased towards Epos. Yeah, it's the most powerful beast, according to Adaro and possibly Talzon, but securing extra muscle could have helped Malvol against Tom in the final fight. And there's that whole thing I'm going to say in many Beast Quest series after Tom beats a beast. Why doesn't the main villain just zap him after he's weakened from the fight? So, that's all that for you. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Beast Quest Series 1. I'll go with a brief ranking, and that's that for you. Alright, so last place, no surprise, Nanook. I've said it in my explanation. The fight was short, and even though I don't tackle battles in my video, I can understand why Adam doesn't like it. Story-wise, it's kind of bare bones. The story goes at a quick pace that nothing lost. I don't appreciate that Eleanor is used as a damsel, so that's why it's lost for me. Up next, of course, no surprise, is Arcta. Understandable reasons why Adam doesn't like it either. I can see why. The fight, of course, is treating Arcta like pathetic because of his disability. It's disappointing because you build up so much tension with the fight. The adventure getting there, it's alright, just scuffle here, scuffle there. It didn't feel like anything that really hooked me in, so that's why. But I can still take it over Nanook for not being short on the fight. What did I have this again? Now this may surprise you, but I'm going with Sepron next. Yeah, so that obviously means... So there you go on that one. Sepron is next. And yes, Jack Griffin, I know you love this book. For me, it was a tough choice between this and the next entry. But I think what it came down to is that I didn't understand partly why Sepron was tied to the chain all the time. It could have been more utilized with him being free. And the fight is kind of restricted because Eleanor has to just stay up top and give information. And I would prefer team efforts than solo efforts, really. Unless it's like something personal towards Tom, like Epos is. We'll see how that goes there. But yeah, I feel like... more could have been done. I would have preferred if they both died in the water. That's just me. So I still enjoy this book. It's a lovely, friendly follow-up to Furno, but given there could have been more to it, that's why I put it where it is. And then, of course, this shouldn't surprise people, Tagus is up next. And the reason why I like Tagus is the opposite reason why I don't. Is kind of wish on Sepron. Is that everyone helps out in this fight. Storm does, Silver does, Eleanor does. Tom does, of course, as well. You have some stakes. They try to shift up the plot a bit with Tom being captured for the first time, and the heroes have to get him out of there, so it does shake things up. And they have a different concept, the whole cattle and the beast. I like that, so it's like doing different ideas. The only complaint I have is that, he doesn't use his sword, and I would have preferred that, or as much. So, that's just why I enjoy it more, compared to the other one. So it felt like a more contributed effort, compared to the Sepron. And of course, Furno. Yep, so I think my order is very similar to Adam's, but you have 6 options how to rank it. Of course, Furno's going to be number 2. Of course, he's the start of the book, the nostalgia piece. And of course, you do feel that nostalgia as you go through the adventure. You do have the Star Wars references. A farm boy becomes a great warrior. Like that there. He does have, it's not established in this book, but it is in the next one, true. So, but I like the farm boy concept, like I said. And then the fact he has to go on this adventure. He meets a king, and he meets all these... He's put into a quest to rescue some beasts. It sounds very enticing for a TV series, and I hope it would be, but they might fuck it up, so who knows. And he goes through the forest, and he meets his allies. It's all very charming. I like how it is. The characters build their friendships. The fight isn't the best, isn't not the longest, of course. I appreciate that, but the only person who doesn't contribute in that fight... Well, I could argue that Storm doesn't contribute, but you know what? Yeah, I take it back. Actually, all the characters contribute. Not as much as each other, because I would like them to all contribute equally, you could say. And on the other hand, they may have actually contribute equally. Because think about it. You had Silver bit the tail. Elena shot the arrow. Storm, you could say, helped out. But I felt like it was more Tom. Storm just follows Tom's order. But you could count it as a team effort. I'm going to give Furno the pass to say it's a team effort now. because they kind of all utilized. So I'm giving a team effort beat on this beast. And of course, Burno awesome. It was straight to the point. Climbing the Black Mountain, loved it. I enjoyed that book. And of course, no surprise, Epos is first. It's the most story driven. It's the conclusion. It has to be big. It does wrap up the whole Taladon thing about who he is and Tom going to fight Epos straight at the bat, throwing it off guard. They explore deeper into the volcano. The side characters don't get much focus, which is understandable because it's about finishing up Series 1. And then as he further and further progresses, he finds more about his father and more questions and all that stuff. And then eventually he fights Epos and Malville alone. Bit sad because it's not a team effort, but given how this story has been written to this point, I'm okay with it being a Tom effort win here, or Epos effort win, how you want to slice it, because it is more focused on Tom. If it's a personal situation involving a character, I'm okay with that character getting the win. So overall, guys, Series 1 officially done. I will be doing Series 2 and 3. I do know other series, so I'm just going to get that as we go. So Series 1 is officially done. I hope you enjoyed how I did it. I wanted to give a good in-depth analysis on this, because you could go in without notes, but some of your plot points in the story might have been forgotten, so that's why it's best to do that. Overall, though, I hope you liked the video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys at some point. I don't know when in the future for Series 2 Retrospective. We'll see, so look forward to that. Thank you all for watching, guys. Until next time, peace out.